Hello and welcome. I hope everyone's doing okay. Today we're going to be looking at how to set up Roblox and what everything is that you need to know before you start scripting. We're going to open up this, which is Roblox Studio, of course. And for today, let's just select faceplate because we're not going to be doing anything fancy. When you come in, you should see this. I'm not sure, this might be closed, but I'll show you how to open that later. And the first thing you're going to want to do is add stuff, right? So you're going to take note of this thing up here, which is called the toolbox. If that's not already out, you're going to click it. And this is where you get all your parts. You can also make them yourself and upload them, but that's a lot harder, and that's a topic for a later video. So, we're going to look up here before we add anything to the game, and we're going to make sure that our output is selected. This is going to help you out when you go to scripting. Just know that this is helpful to have out. Another thing that you want is to have this and this enabled. It comes enabled as you open Roblox, and this is where all your parts are going to be, and where all your scripts and pretty much where everything that you add to this game is going to be. And this down here is the Properties tab, which when you add a part or you add something, you're going to be able to mess with stuff by just clicking and replacing numbers, and I'll show you that in a second. So, one last thing. We're going to go to model, or not model. Where are you? Oh, yeah. Okay, so, Game Explorer. This is what I closed out, and this is what you use to publish your game. You won't need to do that until you're looking to make more levels in one game, or if you just want to upload your game for people to play. But right now, we have no game, so we're not going to mess with that right now. Let's begin by going to the Home tab, and adding a part. If you click the arrow, you can look at spheres, wedges, cylinders. For now, we're just going to add a block. And then I'm going to select it by left-clicking. And then I could either go in and zoom in to it, but you see this is not very accurate. I mean, it's going to be hard to see it from here. So all you have to do is click F, and it focuses on it. If you click your right mouse button, you can spin around it, and as you can see, after we've clicked F, it's centered. You can also use the WASD keys to move around. And the E and the Q. What these do is they make you go up and down. E makes you go up, Q makes you go down. The next thing we're going to do with this is we are going to move it, scale it, and rotate it. So to do that, you need to use these up here. Now I like to use the hotkeys for these, which is instead of clicking them, I press Control 1, Control 2, Control 3, Control 4, and later you'll learn that there's also a Control 5 for transform, but we're not going to mess with this now. Anyways, let's start by moving this. You can move it side to side, up and down. You can also just straight up just grab it and move it wherever you want, but that's less accurate. That's only if you want to move something really, really far away and then go get it. But for now, we're going to use the arrows. Oops. There we go. And let's press F again to focus on it. And then we're going to scale it. So that's Control 3, or clicking on this button right here. And you can make it fatter, you can make it longer, taller. And then you can rotate it. This is the fun part. Control 4, move it around, move it a little bit up. Let's spin it a little bit. Yep. And then Control 2, sorry. Let's get it out of the ground. There we go. Now there's also the Control 5 key, which is the transform key. And this is kind of all of them in one. It's fun to mess around with, and it's also kind of useful because you don't have to, when you have this rotated and it's inside the ground, you don't have to pull it out like this and then figure out where it's going to be when it comes out. It's just an up and down arrow. And it's super convenient. Anyways, let's move on. let's move on from this tiny little boring brick. Let's go over here to the toolbox, and you can search for anything. In my case, I'm just going to click on this, and it'll put it into the world. Oops, I'm still in Control 5. Let's go to Control 1. There we go. And there's a couple different ways of adding stuff to your Roblox Studio area. One of them is like you saw, I just clicked it. The other one, you can drag something in and just place it wherever you want. There's some things like torches where if you want to carry something, it'll pop up a message. Let's see, torch, hold. Aha, this one. If you click it, oh, nope, it's the wrong one. There, nope, that's the wrong one too. Where was this? Torch player. Nope, maybe it's in, yeah, recent. Aha, this one, handheld torch. If you click it, it's gonna pop up a box that you can't see now because the recording doesn't cover it, but it's gonna ask if you want to put it into the starter pack. You're gonna click yes, and it's gonna go over here. Now this, you don't have to worry about this for now, but this has the scripting, the blocks that the torch consists of, and as you can see, you can't actually see it, so as you cannot see, right? So for this, we're gonna have to go into the game. How in the world do you do that? Well, up here, you click the arrow, and there's three options. You can either play normally, so it'll spawn you in the regular spawn. You can click play here, which spawns you wherever the camera is, or you can click run. Run doesn't spawn you in, it just runs the scripts that you have in the game. So if you want to, let's say if you have a moving block for an obby, and you don't want to go into it as a player, you still want to stay outside of the game so you can edit it. You click that, and the block should move on its own. But we're not there yet. For now, let's just click play, either here or here. And it should spawn us in. And apparently this is the spawn. Okay, so well, let's jump down and scroll to go into first person and click 1. And voila, a torch. And we can mess around here, we can play, we can climb this as best that we can. And then whenever we want to leave, then wait a second. How do we do that? If I press escape, nothing happens. Well, there's two different options. You can either click your Windows button, and that'll make you able to move the arrow around. You can also click Shift and F5. This stops the game, and you're back to the studio mode. Okay? And I have a warning before I leave. This is pretty much the whole tutorial, except for the fact that if you go into game settings and avatar, if you add something to your game and it doesn't seem to want to work with your character, try clicking R6, save, and what that does is whenever you play, the avatar that you have is the old avatar. This is the one that was in Roblox for a long time before, like, I think they changed it 2017 or 2018. But some of the models do not work with the new version, which was the R15, which is why you have to revert to this one. Okay, well, that's all. I hope you've enjoyed, and happy coding!